I have some bad news and good news to deliver. Which one do you want to hear first? Now, most people usually choose the bad news first, right? So the bad news is PM Lee Hsien Loong just said that the period of low interest rates and low inflation are not likely to return anytime soon. So you know what that means? It means that your stock market returns may not be very good in the next coming years. But you know what's the good news? With the higher interest rates, it will give you higher interest earned on your bank savings accounts. And in fact, last week, our three local banks, DBS, UOB and OCBC, has all announced to raise their interest rates on their flagship savings or current account from 1st September onwards. Not only that, we are seeing some increased competition from some of the new and upcoming banks. So we may be in for a period of heightened interest rates given on your bank savings accounts. So in this video, let me just break down to you what are the new updates, the changes, the interest rates that you could see from the attractive advertisements of these three local banks, right? And I'll break it down for you because I don't think it's realistic to take the highest tier interest rates, and I'll compare each of them so that you can make a fair comparison. But before we start doing the comparison, we need to have some assumptions laid out first, right? Because we need to have like a common standing ground so that you can have an apple to apple comparison. And let's start off with the first assumption being that you have $100,000 worth of cash lying around. Because I know from my analytics in YouTube, you are most likely in your late 20s, your early 30s, or even your late 30s, trying to build some financial wealth and financial literacy. So I think that most of you generally will have $100,000 worth of cash lying around, and you want to put in the best savings account. And the second assumption is, of course, you are having a salary, okay? And let's take the SG median salary, right, being 4.5k. Because 4.5k, I think that's the median level announced previously. And if you want to deduct the CPF of 20%, that means that you're taking home a pay of $3,600 monthly. I think that's a reasonable target, right? And because you are a young adult pursuing financial freedom and financial independence, most likely you can afford to shell out $500 to $1,000 worth of your money to put in investments, because those will be one of the categories for some of these accounts. And because you are a working adult, you can afford to spend $500 to $1,000 in a month on your credit card, because you will need to buy your groceries, you will need to pay for your transport, you will need to pay for your dining expenses, your food expenses and all that stuff, right? And all these can be charged to your credit cards. So we have laid out the assumptions. Now let's roll in the competition between these three banks, starting with the first one being DBS Multiplier account. Now DBS Multiplier account use a very attractive title, right? They give you up to 3.5% interest rate, but I'll give you a TLDR version. The realistic rate is only like 1.9% interest per annum. So how to get 1.9% per annum on DBS Multiplier? I think firstly you need to look at the criteria of DBS Multiplier. It needs you to credit salary, or you have some other kind of SG dividends, or you have the SG Findex kind of thing. But let's use the salary credit of $3,600, right? Because I think that's easier known. So you have $3,600 of salary credited, and you also need to fulfill three categories, right? So these three categories will be your invest, your insure, and your credit card spend. So with credit card spend, let's assume that you spend around $900 worth of credit card bills on your DBS Live Fresh and your DBS Altitude, because these are the more popular cards within the DBS credit card space. Or you can spend $900 on your DBS Women's World Mastercard, right, if you are an online spender. Then for insurance, now you can even buy insurance online on their DBS internet banking portal. They are partners with Manulife, so I think the cheapest right now is the Cancer Plus or the EoQjdG, right? Both of these are like critical illness insurance, but just buy the lowest tier one if you don't need like their insurance products, right? Just get the cheapest one to fulfill the insurance category. I tried out the platform. It will cost around $10 monthly for the cheapest insurance plan. So it depends on your age, your smoking status, and whether you are male or female. So do try it out. And next, you're assuming that you'll put $500 into your investments. Now this can be in your DBS regular savings plan, and there are some other kind of investment products with DBS as well, right? They have their own digital advisor kind of thing, DG portfolio. You can take a look at it. So if we add up all the eligible transactions together, we have $3,600 from salary credit, we have $900 from credit card spending, we have $10 from insurance, and we also have $500 from the investments. So all these will total up to $5,010, which puts you in the tier of above 5k to 15k for the DBS Multiplier tier, and you have satisfied salary credit plus three categories. And for DBS Multiplier, your first 50k will earn 1.4%, and your next 50k will earn 2.4%. So your aggregated interest using these two is 1.9%. on $100,000 of your savings. So if you use 1.9% multiplied by the $100,000 of savings, your yearly interest you'll get $1,900. Then your monthly interest will be around $158 per month, which is not too bad, right? You get $158 every month, can pay off a lot of your bills already. So DBS Multiplier is really suitable for people who already have a DBS account and you want to use DBS products like their credit cards, their insurance, and their investments. Otherwise, you feel that you really need to satisfy a lot of these categories. But all these categories are not difficult, right? I have already laid out the steps that you need to do. Next up, let's look at the UOB One current account. Now, they advertise the highest interest rate, they will give you 3.6%. But in reality, the realistic interest rate you'll get is 2.14%. How to get 2.14%? I think it's rather simple, right? You just need to credit $1,600 worth of salary credit every month and also make $500 worth of credit card spend on their eligible UOB credit cards. That's it. Okay, bear in mind the eligible credit cards has a very tight category, yeah? So it's only these three credit cards, which is the UOB One, the UOB Evo, and the UOB Ladies card. So specifically, the $500 of eligible credit card spend will exclude your UOB Absolute Amex cashback and also your UOB KrisFlyer. These two credit cards are more of the easier credit cards to earn rewards, right, on UOB specifically. Like your UOB Absolute Cashback can earn 1.7% on Grab top up. And then your UOB KrisFlyer can earn 3 miles per dollar on a wide range of categories. So they exclude these two is because they don't want you to game the system. But I think it's quite easy to spend $500 on UOB One credit card, right? Because that is like the base tier already, the lowest tier. $500 spending, you can get 3.33% of base cashback plus 5% of additional cashback on these additional cashback merchants like Grab, like Shopee, like Cold Storage. All these can get additional 5%. So effective cashback will be around 8.33% if you spend in the right categories. So how we get effective interest rate of 2.14%, right? I'll say that if we aggregate out the interest rate based on the $100,000 worth of savings that you have and you multiply all the tiers and whatever, then you come up to this effective interest rate of 2.14%. So with 2.145% to be exact, then your yearly interest is $2,145 and your monthly interest will be around $178, which is $20 more than DBS Multiplier interest with less categories to be fulfilled. Now, if you haven't had a UOB One account yet, you can sign up using my referral link. I do get some affiliate benefits and that will help me on my channel. Thank you. So this UOB account is suitable for who? It's really suitable for people who are already spending $500 on the UOB specific credit cards, right? You need to limit your spending to only the 3 credit cards, which are UOB One, UOB Evo, and UOB Ladies. And that is slightly different from the way DBS calculate credit card, because for DBS, they kind of accept most of the DBS credit cards in the market. But I know that some of you still find these terms and conditions quite complicated and difficult because you don't like to tie your spending to a specific credit card. So I'll introduce you my sponsor where you can get free money without much terms and conditions. I know that some of you have missed the chance to get your free kopi from Mumu last month, and so did I, because this time round inflation has caused my coffee to increase price by 10 cents, and inflation is a necessary devil, right? So how to fight inflation, you may ask, and that is by getting free money. How to get free money then? It's very simple. Just sign up using my referral link for your Mumu account, then deposit at least $2,700 to get a chance to spin the stock wheel, and you can get up to 1 free Amazon stock. Then next, you know what to do? You may take out a sum of $100 out of your cash deposit and start a Mumu Cash Plus. Now, once you have invested at least $100 in Mumu Cash Plus, you'll get a daily cashback coupon of $2 for 30 days. And you know, $2 times 30 days, that is $60 worth of free money. And I can give you 4 very specific reasons why you should use Mumu Cash Plus. Firstly, there's no monthly negative return to date. Secondly, with the rising interest rate environment, there is potential earnings from this. Next, the process to subscribe and the process to redeem it is really fast and quick. And lastly, there's potential income daily, even on the weekends. So this is how I will use Mumu Singapore and Mumu Cash Plus to fight inflation. Alright, next up is the OCBC 360 account. The highest interest rate they advertise is 4.05%, but the realistic interest rate is only 1.85% per annum. So how to get 1.85% on OCBC 360? Firstly, you need to credit your salary. So minimum salary credit of $1,800, you will get 1.1% for the salary credit. Next, you will get 0.35% if you increase your average daily balance by $500 compared to the previous month. So for example, if like your previous month you have $10,000 saved, then this current month you need to have $10,500 so that you can satisfy the criteria of having saved $500 more than the previous month. Then you get the additional 0.35%. Next, you get 0.35% interest if you spend at least $500 on your OCBC 365 credit card. So this is the specific card that is tied to the OCBC 360 account, and you need to spend $500 on it. And I never recommended this card because I felt that the cashback and the categories are not very fulfilling and easy to use. That's why you need to be already a user of OCBC 365 to really capitalize on this additional 0.35%. Then lastly is a 0.05% base interest. So if you add all these numbers up, right, the salary credit, the spend category, and the save category, you'll get an effective interest rate of 1.85% per annum, which means that your yearly interest is $1,850 and your monthly interest is $154. And you realize that actually this interest is the lowest of the three banks, and yet they have so much conditions, especially on the spending credit card, right? I don't even recommend OCBC 365, and now you want me to tie all my spending 500 into OCBC 365 just to get a lower interest compared to the two other banks? I don't think it makes sense lah, huh? So it's really for people who are already using the OCBC 365 credit card and they may not want the hassle to switch over to the other banks. So I round out my comparison between these three savings accounts which are high interest. I'll say that if you want to go for the highest effective interest, UOB One is the clear winner if you meet the certain assumptions, because UOB One is giving you an effective interest of 2.14%, and if you are using my assumptions, that is the highest of these three, right? More than 2%. I think that's really great for a savings account. If you want the least terms and conditions, then I would say go for UOB One as well, because you only need to do a salary credit and spend $500 on their eligible credit cards. I think that's the easiest, right? You don't need to do any investment, don't need to buy any insurance products, don't need to like save additional money. But if you want like freedom of credit card, then I would say go for DBS Multiplier, because they have a wide range of credit cards like DBS Refresh, DBS Altitude, and DBS Women's World Mastercard. All these are great credit cards that I have already recommended on my DBS credit card reviews. But DBS may be the black horse here, right? Because what if you can hit the 30,000 eligible transaction criteria? You'll get the max interest rate, you know, and that is for people who really have large transactions, maybe on their investments, they trade like more than 10-20k a month. Then DBS Multiplier is really suitable for these people. How about if you just want a no frills thing, you don't want to satisfy any conditions, then you can consider putting in either the CPF or the Singapore Savings Bond, because both of these platforms give you like really high interest rates, like more than 2% and even up to 4% on your CPF, and I compare them in this video over here, so you can take a look and make a fair comparison.